Okay, so we are en route now for the true ending. We're in or at least like one of the final chapters that would push us towards that. A few things that we missed while I sped through all this. We got the D line earlier on that was from the ending that we had to get this part. And then the lead up to this was similar, where like you go with Maho to meet Daru and talk about the laptop, but this time like you get tipped off, or you figure out like there's people in the building while you guys are still in there, and then you try to make your escape, and you pretty much you get out of the building, you get to like this alleyway, and then you get surrounded by people in motorcycle suits and helmets. One of them is Moeka, and she wants the laptop, but then like this military group comes in the van, starts shooting everyone. And they shoot up the laptop, so it's destroyed, and everyone's freaking the fuck out. So like you go to Ferris's high-rise apartment and just pretty much like chill out there for a while. And then the beginning of this chapter, this is the very, very beginning, it's like the first line of the chapter, is they just time warp back to the future, and I guess you're Kid Kagari. So let's go from there. This was when Kagari was 6. She'd been living in a facility for war orphans and getting treatment at a dedicated clinic next door. It was a completely different place than the normal hospitals, which were overflowing with casualties from the war. It was an idyllic garden shut off from the despair of the outside world so that children could live in peace. That was where she'd meet her mom. Mom, Mayuri Shina, was a Class 2 caregiver at the facility who was always very nice to her. It was impossible to express with words how happy Kagari had felt. Being Mom's real daughter meant that Kagari had become her real name. Kagari would become Kagari Shina. Kagari didn't know the doctor's name, but he was a nice old man who was always kind to her. Mom rubbed her head. Kagari felt so at peace that she could cry. Mom took her hand away. And instead, the doctor took Kaguri's hand. She was taken to the usual room. There was a white reclining chair, and next to it, some kind of mechanical system connected to a headset. She couldn't remember when she started hearing the voice, but by the time she was 6, whenever she was worried, uncertain, or in trouble, she could hear it. It was always kind and strong, and it always cheered her up. In Kaguri's childish mind, she started thinking it might be the voice of God. Since only she could hear it, everyone else said it was just an illness, but Mom was the only person who believed her. Kaguri's young heart was filled with the hope that she could someday live with Mom. Because that's the one we still have to resolve, I guess, in this ending world. Is that we still don't know what the hell happened with Kaguri. As soon as she opened the door, Kaguri Shino was struck by an unpleasant wave of heat. It was early June, and this was the first day to hit summer temperatures. It was hot enough that just walking outside could cause you to sweat, but this small Japanese-style room had thick curtains and the windows were closed. The room was dark and cramped, and there were so many clothes on the floor there was no place to stand. It wasn't just clothes. There were all kinds of filthy things. Bags with half-eaten snack bread still in them, half-rotted food packs, plastic convenience store bags overflowing with trash, all scattered around the floor. Excuse me. In the area around the half-naked girl sitting against the wall was covered in bandages and gauze soaked with blood and pus. Pus. There were bandages tied around her exposed stomach, chest, and limbs, but those too were soaked with blood. The room was filled with a sickening sweet stench, though there was no way to know if it was coming from the garbage or coming from her. The owner of the room, Moeka Kiryu, raised her head and looked at her, eyes filled with hope.
M4, まだ生きてたか?
When she saw Kaguri, who was still wearing her shoes as she came into the room, her shoulders slumped.
FB 命の恩人に向かってひどい言い草ね。
Moeka gave a painful cough and spit up some stomach fluid mixed with blood. It stained her thighs and the floor. Her wounds must have opened up again because the bandages around her stomach began to turn red. She spent 5 months like this, with no treatment from a doctor. Moeka had gone to a gunfight with the Russian army and failed her mission as around her. She had lost 2 of her companions and her target, Kurisa Makase's laptop, and was also destroyed. They pinned the blame on her. She was wounded and almost killed. It was Kaguri who saved her and brought her to this room. But if someone with a gunshot wound went to the hospital, the police would be notified. And for that reason, she'd never gotten any real treatment. Her wounds had become infected, and even 5 months later, they still brought her incredible pain. Her terrible fever hadn't let up at all, and it wasn't rare for her to go from 39 degrees to over 40. That's Celsius. But Moeka didn't seem very interested in her wounds. She was more interested in sending messages with the phone in her hands. She must have been sending more messages to her beloved boss. In the past 5 months, she'd sent almost 1,000. That's not even that many.
FB どうして返事をくれないの?
FB was Moeka's boss in the Rounders, aka Tennoji, a woman who always gave orders to Moeka via text message. Moeka worshipped her to a degree that far exceeded what could occur within a normal employee relationship. The shock of being abandoned by FB had hurt her many times more than her actual wounds. Kaguri tossed the bag she'd had slung over her shoulder at Moeka's feet, along with 2 plastic bags. The backpack was filled with medicine that wasn't available without a doctor's prescription. Along with it was a whole box of illegal drugs used only for the treatment of severe pain. Normally these would be kept under strict control at a hospital where no person could get them. Both of the plastic bags were filled with canned goods and other things Kaguri had chosen because they had the lowest possibility of spoiling.
生きる気がなくなったら言うといいわ。代わりに毒でも持ってきてあげるから。
But Moika didn't seem to notice Kagura at all. She was completely unresponsive. Kagura had gotten used to her attitude over the last 5 months, but she wasn't just going to go home today. She wordlessly reached for Moika's cell phone. Moika tried to resist, but evidently she had no strength left. Kagura was easily able to grab the phone. It was covered in blood and pus, but Kagura forced it to her pocket without hesitation. Gross. Moika started crawling towards her. It was like something out of a zombie movie. Moika froze.
FB の命令。
そう、受け取りなさい。
Kagura took another cell phone out of her pocket. It was the same Japanese cell phone that Moika had been using, minus the dirt and bloodstains.
今までの回線はロシアやアメリカの諜報部に傍受されていて使えないわ。だから今後はこっちを使って指令が来る。
Moika reached a trembling hand out toward the phone. And in an instant, she snatched it away and clutched it to her chest like it was her own child.
FB はこの携帯ならメールをくれるの？
多分もう来てるはずよ。
Moika quickly opened the screen on the phone. When she saw the words on the screen, tears started to flow down her face.
M4 私の可愛い娘。大変だったわね。
Are you really going to read the whole thing?
私もとても心を痛めています。失敗したことは
Also rocking that classic 3G network.
あなたが
Though I mean, it's 2011 in this game, so I guess that would make sense. Wait, was 3G around in 2011?
本当によかった。
Yeah. I think
早
so.
く傷を治して私からの次のメールを待っていてね。今度こそ任務を完全に遂行し、私の信頼を取り戻してあなたのことを心から信じていますからね。私の大切な大切な娘 FB より
Sob sob.
わざわざ読み上げなくてもいいのに。
Yeah, that's true. Of course, this message wasn't from FB. Kagura had written it herself. Keep someone at the brink of death for 5 months and give them exactly what they want as bait, and you can easily put anyone under your control. Kagura knew this well. The life suddenly returned to Moika's face. She spilled out the contents of Kagura's backpack like a woman possessed.
傷を治したいの。FB の信頼答えなくちゃ。
それでいい M4。